And so with all that being said right there, it's time to get to the starting grid for the final race of the season. We will begin with, it's no surprise whatsoever, you got the two guys that have been going back and forth all season long, the number 17 Chevrolet of Corbin McCauley and the number 88 of Scott Bailey. Two Championship 4 drivers starting on the front row, and then we move on to the next row where we have the number 1 of reigning Rookie of the Year, C.D. Magrum, who falls just short of the Championship 4, but will look to end the season on a high note. And we got the number 21 Chevrolet of Matthew Paytak starting in 4th. Oh, apologies, Jordy, there. I had you muted. Go ahead with the row here.
Oh, shit, I didn't even hear you. So on to row 3, we've got the number 23 of Ryan Gibson rounding out the top 5. Dylan Baum outside, starting 6th in the number 3 Toyota. On to row 4, real quick here. There it is, as we find the soon-to-be former Earl Ross Cup champion Ty Higginbotham starting 7th in the number 97 Toyota. Justin Belmonte, another round of 8 casualty in the number 6 Ford. He starts 8th.
Rounding at the top 10, we got the number 13 of Jared Island, who is the worst qualifying top Championship 4 driver here tonight, but no doubt that he will use his intermediate speed to make his way up. The number 36 Chevrolet of Michael Wolford starts in 10th at the bottom of the top 10 there. Remember, he qualified second Auto Club, finished 10th, so he's got some speed and momentum going on there. Just outside the top 10, the number 41 Ford of Jose Mercado and the number 12 Toyota of Mike Marini.
All right, on to row 7, and we have Jason Butler, the procurer of tonight's title sponsor, GSGSG, starting in 13th in the number 10 Chevy. They'll have another Ontario guy in Hunter Young in the 77 on the outside. He'll start 14th. Row 8 now sees the the series founder, Dan Cudmore, in the number 2 Ford. You're starting 15th, though, with Kyle Knoll in the number 15, starting 16th.
And then you got Darcy Ford and Andy Hurdle that will round out the field here. So finally it's time to get the season finale underway. The GSGSG Vinyl 3D Season Finale 200 is underway. One last race to end off our first season on iRacing.
I'm just hoping GSGSG doesn't stand for Go Stop, Go Stop, Go tonight.
Oh, he already got trouble in the back. That's the 6 of Justin Belmonte into the outside wall.
Belmonte going boom, boom.
No caution. We stay green.
And already you see Matthew Paytak making up a few positions there off the start. Remember, he had an EOL to start. As it looks like Bailey's taking that inside line. They've drove under McCauley here on lap 2.
Indeed, so the 88 will take first place here on lap 2. McCauley going to dive way down to the inside. Bailey riding the high line. Coming off the corner, Bailey will have the advantage, of course, with that corner exit speed, always better on the high side. McCauley will drop in from behind. He will dive into the inside once again here on lap 3 at 167. And again, going back to what happened with Justin Belmonte, he currently sits in his pit box. Again, the wall hit there. No caution. Probably a fair decision. Thank goodness the whole field didn't have a case of wrecking. Especially with a guy like Jared Ireland, who was in the middle, towards the middle of the pack there, only starting in 9th. But now he's made his way up to 6th. So already he's making his way up. I said that earlier, knowing his speed on the intermediate tracks. He's got 3 wins on those kind of layouts, those circuits.
You want to talk about moves, though, Riggs? Paytak's up to 12th already.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's another... My vision right there was towards Ireland. Then you're seeing the bad end of it, where the 21 NBR Motorsports Chevrolet all the way back towards the 12th position now, outside the top 10 behind Jason Butler, carrying on the title sponsor of the race, GSGSG Vinyl. My gosh, that is the race title is quite the mouthful.
Yeah, again, the point though, unless I missed something, the 21 was supposed to start end of line along with Andy Hurdle, which I believe he did.
Actually, yeah, that does.
Because he was 16th a couple laps ago. Now he's up to 11th. This is a charge here from the 21.
That's actually a charge there. So apologies for the mistake right there. So yes, indeed, I actually now do recall it. But again, though, information overload does tend to happen, and sometimes there's always a fact that goes missing. And with that, Paytack charging up to 11. So now McCauley, of course, taking the lead here over Bailey. Bailey giving him some shoves from behind. McCauley diving down to the inside. Bailey on the high side. McCauley will take
battle all night long.
Oh yeah, McCauley will take the advantage by about 3/10. Bailey going to have the high side run right there. Oh, look at this back here. We got some 3-wide action going on. It was about for the third position right there. We got Magram and Baum in there as well. And that's not the camera I wanted. There we go. We got Baum in there. We got Magram, Ryan Gibson, Jared Ireland charging his way up. He'll go to the inside of Ryan Gibson. In behind them is Ty Higginbottom, the defending champion, who unfortunately will not be going for an All-Ross Cup this time around, but he'll look to go back-to-back race win-wise after winning the Homestead-Miami season finale last year. And again, as you were saying, this battle is going to keep raging on and on. McCauley versus Bailey. Whew.
Yeah, and again, Ireland, he's only a couple seconds back right now, and Paytack's jumped into the top 10 as we keep more of a focus on our Championship 4 here tonight. But yeah, if those two can jump into this mix, oh boy, I think we're in for some fireworks if we weren't already.
Absolutely. So right here, looks as though it's cleared all the way up until the top 4 is Ireland now up to the 4th position. Magram and Gibson going at it for the bottom of the top 5. Ty Higginbottom following in behind. Wow. Finding the gap right there on the outside was Paytack. We were completely wrong earlier. He's making the charge. He's now up to the 8th position as he'll overtake Darcy Ford through turns 1 and 2. He's going to use I guess we'll call it the Kyle Larson line up high. Jose Mercado doing the same as well from behind in his kind of Davey Allison style. Number 41, Haviline Ford. Kyle Knoll in behind right there. Kyle Knoll put on a good performance at the first Homestead race earlier this year. I believe it was a 3rd place finish, so just outside the top 10, but he'll be looking to try and maybe add on another podium finish here to end off the season. Of course, his exit in the playoffs was very unfortunate after dealing with some personal issues.
Yeah, I mean, he was the guy that we kept looking at, and I know it's wound up in a one-race ban at one point late in the regular season, but he was the guy, Reeves, that we were looking at. He was always the guy that seemed to be more than willing to try an alternative strategy, whether it was going light on fuel, going tires only on one side instead of all 4 to get track position. He's a guy who wasn't afraid to take a chance. Been a fun addition.
Paytack we're just going to keep saying, he's really charging. Now he's up to the 7th position ahead of Ty Higginbottom, and now he's going to go and fight C.D. Magram for the 6th position. As we take a look through the rest of the back of the field here, there's Wolford 13th, Andy Hurdle in 14th. We did kind of miss Darcy Ford and Andy Hurdle there on the back row. That would be the 2021 champion now up to the 9th position. He's making a surge from the back of the field. Under Paytack may have just gotten into the wall right there. He was very close up against it. Again, he's been really using the high side in this race thus far. He still is right there trying to get past C.D. Magram in 6th, and he will. So now he's going to try and charge towards the top 5 in behind Ryan Gibson, as Ford and Higginbottom are going to go out of here for the 8th position. And then, as we said, again, back on that back row that we missed, the number 7 of Andy Hurdle. Justin Belmonte's still in his pit box now, 10 laps down after getting that damage. Now he's going to...
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, now he's going to come out of his pit box after, again, sustaining damage in a very early hit to the outside wall on the backstretch on lap 1. So the number 6 Sim Speed Shop Ford going to come out now. He'll need a lot of circumstances to occur in order to make his way back up through the field somehow. If he was in the championship, if he made Auto Club last Tuesday and he was in the Final 4, that would have been an incredibly bad start for him. A very tragic start for sure, but not too much to worry about, although he definitely would have wanted to end the season off on a high note somehow. As again, McCauley and Bailey still going at it here for the top 2 spots. About 0.3 or so, the number 17 ahead of the number 88.
Yeah, it seemed fairly innocent. Obviously, it was hard contact for Belmonte there in the beginning, but to warrant 5 or 6 minutes of repairs, which is what roughly 10 laps down would translate to, I have to think that, maybe a little more happened than what met the eye.
Indeed, so now we'll be approaching lap 16 of 167. Friendly reminder, of course, with the stages again. Lap 42 will be the final lap of the first stage. And let me just make sure that is definitely correct. And indeed it is. 42, 45, and 80 are the lengths once again. So still plenty of time for things to roll through. But we got to remind everyone, these stage breaks are basically just like, okay, rack them all up once again, because the stage points don't matter in this one. You just have to finish ahead of the next driver in line. If you're in the final 4, the next driver in line in the final 4 behind you, you got to finish in front of them. And if there's any in front of you, you got to finish in front of them. So again, it's like that GIF, whatever it is that you had on there at the during the pre-race show. Points don't matter.
Yeah, and on that point, fun fact, I think while you had me muted, I think I got my camera fixed.
Yeah, I did notice that. Your face is now there, so we will be able to see it in some capacity towards the end of the race.
I apologize to the audience in advance.
It is completely fine. We were dealing with some technical difficulties even before the race. It wasn't even just us. There was technical difficulties going on here on the iRacing end of things with the drivers. So we're not alone. And Scott Bailey just got into the wall right there on the outside. He might be trying a little bit too hard, trying to be like Kyle Larson right there as McCauley. Again, they're still at a 0.3 difference, a difference of 0.3. So there is speed there from Bailey. He's somehow able to fend off those taps to the outside wall where you'd think it'd be really Darlington where you'd see that kind of stuff happen, but no. In this race here, the championship finale at Homestead-Miami Speedway, that high line can really give you an advantage, especially on corner exit.
Yeah, and if you look at it, these two are absolutely leaving the pack in the dust. Like, there's roughly 4 seconds between Bailey and third place Dylan Baum right now. Like, 4 seconds on a track like Homestead-Miami, that's an eternity. Well, I mean, case in point right here.
Indeed, so McCauley gaining an ever so slight advantage there on Bailey now, almost half a second. Again, still kind of close to 0.3 there. Meanwhile, Dylan Baum and Jared Ireland are going to go at it as Ireland still surging his way up. Haytack is in behind right there. You can see behind Ryan Gibson. So Ireland's going to go here for the 3rd position against the number 3. And he is going to take it. So now the top 3 has Championship 4 drivers in the mix. So now all Ireland has to do now is find a way to catch up to McCauley and Bailey, even though he is 4.5 seconds behind.
Yeah, I mean, obviously still a very long way to go in this one, as you alluded to, 50 miles more, than our first go-around here at Homestead-Miami. So lots can happen, and we're watching Matthew Haytack, the 4th in our championship quartet. He can still make those moves as well. I mean, he's already carved through 2/3 of the field as it is. Now, yeah, guys are racing, but I think most of them kind of understand the ramifications here tonight, so they may not be fighting as hard if they see Championship 4 drivers around them. But at the same time, to finish first you got to finish.
Indeed, so as we look more towards the back of the field, there are a couple of battles going on here. There is someone coming down pit road. That'd be the number 2 Cudmore Design Ford of Daniel Cudmore making his way down pit road here. So he'll be the first one in what I would imagine would be this green flag pit window to come on down. He's the only car on pit road so far. We'll see what decisions he makes here. He's going to go for the right side tires. And we'll see what he does the rest of the way. Fuel for sure. He's going to go for all 4 tires, left sides as well, here on lap 23 at 167. He will make his way now.
Always nice to see a pit crew consisting entirely of John Cena is there for Dan Cudmore. I know he's a wrestling fan as well, so he'll appreciate that.
Indeed, so Macaulay now about a second ahead here of Scott Bailey, so definitely those hits that Bailey took, and probably, I would imagine, really giving himself a lot of tire wear. Yeah, that's definitely making him fall back, because now here comes C.D. Mangrum. He is the next candidate for a pit stop in the number 1 Nordic Aluminum Chevrolet. He was carrying the title sponsor of last week's race at Auto Club Speedway. He came very close to giving them a victory, putting themselves really in the spotlight, falling just short of a must-win situation again to the championship for it's still a fabulous performance from him, and it looks like Mangrum's going to go no tires, just gas.
I mean, what did I say off the beginning? Like, more in the championship 4 context, I was talking about this, but leave all the tricks out there if you possibly can. And I mean, Mangrum, he's diving into his bag of tricks early here.
Absolutely. So we'll see what the number 97 Money Lion Toyota is going to do right here. If we can get a prop...
I'd say he did probably the same thing.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah.
6.1 seconds.
So it'll be just that for him, and did something just happen here with somebody? Because I could have sworn I saw a certain movement in the vicinity somewhere. I guess not. I was seeing a bunch of movement going on. Maybe it was because of the pit stops going on right there. But anyways, Dylan Baum has made his way back in front of Jared Ireland, who's going to make his way down pit. Whoa!
Whoa!
Ireland's going to save the car. My goodness, that would have been catastrophic for the 13 if he put himself into the inside walls. The number 17 also going to make his way down pit road. So will the number 15 of Kyle Knoll. Darcy Ford in as well. We're going to see what some of these guys right here are going to decide to do.
Yeah, let's just see what we've got here.
Macaulay going to go for just fuel.
Yeah, 8 seconds, though. A little bit longer than we saw from Mangrum and Higginbotham. Even a few tenths more than Jared Ireland, who comes out at 7.4. But obviously, Macaulay had the track advantage going into pit lane.
So Darcy Ford going for tires there. Meanwhile, I believe Kyle Knoll did as well. So at the moment, Scott Bailey currently your race leader. And as I say that,
we're in the pocket here, or the window, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever it is here on lap 28. So Scott Bailey is going to give up the lead to head down pit road. Dylan Baum will take the lead. Matthew Patak second. Ryan Gibson in third. Scott Bailey here. Drop a couple positions.
Now we'll see what this outlap looks like from Corbin Macaulay as he makes his way around. Ultimately, that'll be the frame of reference here for the 88. And it's a quick stop. 6.1 for him.
So Scott Bailey also deciding not to go for tires just yet with the 6.15 time right there. Matthew Patak now going to make his way down pit road. So all four championship drivers now making their pit stops. Patak will be the final one right here.
And I mean, I'm a little bit surprised that he was able to stay out this long. Maybe not entirely because, again, it seems like the NBR guys, they can be kind of tire whisperers at times. But to get from the back of the pack to, in the top 5 as Patak did, you'd have to think those tires went through some punishment.
Oh, absolutely, too. And that surge from the back to almost the front right there, man. He was just really making his way up. And someone else coming down pit road here, that would be the number 7 of Andy Hurdle. Whoa! Michael Wolford has a moment coming down the pit lane. We're definitely going to have to take a look at what just happened right there.
Yeah, I only saw the smoke. And yeah, just coming down into pit lane. Yeah, that's the Ireland, except he couldn't fully hang on.
Very close call right there for the 36. Still put his rear end into the pit wall right there, but thankfully nothing major goes on for him as he's now sideways in his pit box. Brian Gibson decides to be a ghost.
Yeah, I mean, poor Gibby.
And didn't Cudmore just have something happen?
Not entirely sure. I mean, he was the first. Oh, yeah. Woo, man. I mean, I know we're at Miami, but that looked like something out of Tokyo Drift.
That's a way to put it, then. Certainly is. So Daniel Cudmore a lap down in 16th. Oh, no, another moment. Jason Butler, I think, may have just been a little bit too fast trying to come down pit road, and he has a moment, so we're just going to keep going back and forth and taking the ticker on and off, on and off. So what in the world just happened with the number 10?
He might have hit a piece of vinyl on his way into pit lane.
Oh, come on.
Well, let's hope not, but let's just take a closer look here. Yeah, it comes down onto the apron and just misses it.
And thankfully he went backwards enough where he doesn't get a black flag or a DNF or whatever it may be.
I was going to say, you'd think with that pit lane being where it was, you'd think the left turn would be capable in a NASCAR vehicle here, but yeah, not that time. Just kind of locked up and straight on. Like a kid who doesn't want to leave the park.
Basically, so now McCauley leading the way by just under 2 seconds over Scott Bailey. Dylan Baum in the 3rd position. As we see Jose Mercado and Darcy Ford going at it for the 11th position. Looks like the 64 Wing Snob Chevrolet will take the advantage there. But yes, and then we got Dylan Baum here as, whoa, Jared Ireland out on the outside wall right there, coming off a turn 4. So we've seen a lot of cars getting into the wall or having some moment trying to enter pit road. This does really make me wonder if this is kind of an omen to what we might see in the 2nd and 3rd stages, especially the 3rd stage. 80 laps long. Well, it's probably going to be less because, again, you have to count all the caution laps through the stage break. So it's probably going to be about 75 laps to the finish. But, again, though, we've seen a lot of cars trying the high side, getting into the wall every now and then, really using up their tires, seeing cars that are having issues coming onto pit road. Really makes me wonder, you got those two things. Is the third thing a potential restart shenanigans? Because, I mean, we did see what happened with Justin Belmonte at the start, and thank goodness it wasn't a full-out wreck. But again, we still have time for stuff like that to happen. We hope to. Gosh, that does not happen.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the only thing that has happened so far. Find your piece of wood or whatever you need to knock on here. But the other kind of important, if not entirely, Ireland there just about losing it again. That's a few times in that corner, especially if you count the adventure going into pit lane as well. That's a few times off of turn 4 where the 13's just gotten it all wrong. And, that might cost him a position here to Ryan Gibson if he tries to get him down the back straight here, and it looks like he has gotten him, so Ireland down to 6th. Interesting dynamic there, by the way. Of course, those two drove for the Canadian eMotorsports Network in the iRacing Spa 24 a month or so back. And so they're very familiar with one another. Got a former champion there. He's going to kind of cede the way to the 13. But what I was going to say before all that happened was, now that we've kind of cycled through that first round of green flag pit stops, seems like not really one strategy's favored the other in terms of, an overcut or an undercut. Everyone's effectively come back exactly where they were.
Indeed. So now, right back up to the leader as we are going to be, this time around, we're going to be coming to 3 laps to go in the first stage as the number 17 with a powerful lead here by, it keeps increasing, 2.5 seconds, might get to 3 here as we get to the conclusion of the first stage. Number 17, Holland College Oysterbed Speedway and Holland College Student Union Chevrolet of Corbin McCauley again, man. We talked about earlier, this guy, he's been through so much. Remember in 2020, him and Ryan Gibson having that incredible battle at the championship finale at Phoenix, and Gibson was the one that came out on top. McCauley having a bit of a slump in year 2, and then year 3 even was dealing with a lot of different things. And this year he's been absolutely dominating here, winning almost half the races. So it's this transition to iRacing has definitely been in favor of him, knowing how long he's been on iRacing and how good he's been doing, making his way up the ranks and maybe aspiring to be a NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver or something. We'll have to wait and see if that ever comes to fruition, but again, the 17 just doing everything he can here with 2 laps to go, and thought I was seeing some battles going on back here, unless it had to do with lap cars. I think that might have been Michael Wolford that I was thinking of.
And I think Bailey may have had something go on, because I think that gap just jumped by a second in the last lap or 2. But it could also be a syndrome of, Corbin McCauley's dominance here as well. If you go back to that first Homestead-Miami race, 59 out of a possible 60 points. Finished second in one of the stages. Tisk, tisk.
So down the back straightaway for the final time in the first stage, McCauley leading the way. And judging by the distance between everyone, I can only imagine this will be perfect in trying to figure out who will take the green checker flag here in the first stage. So coming to the line, it'll be the number 17, Corbin McCauley, taking the first stage. Scott Bailey second. Kyle Knoll will get third. Dylan Baum will take fourth. Jared Ireland will come around and take the 5th position with Ryan Gibson in 6th. Matthew Paytak 7th. Ty Higginbottom 8th. C.D. Mangrum will come off the final corner and take the 9th position. And Darcy Ford will round out the top 10 as there's the caution. First stage is over. And yes, McCauley won the first stage, but again, though, that's not the race. There's no stage points. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could theoretically for the drivers below the final 4, because again, we were talking about the quote-unquote best of the rest earlier, like C.D. Mangrum, I think Ty Higginbottom in there as well, Darcy Ford and Dylan Baum having a battle of their own as well. So there is kind of a best of the rest thing going on, but for the Championship 4, this is pretty much just a time to breathe, a sigh of relief, figure out strategies, and just get a fresh reset. But at the same time, it's also a disadvantage because it then puts everyone back together, where we all know that anything could erupt at any point, especially being the finale.
Yeah, and I think for our Stage 1 winner here, the biggest thing that kind of came out of that stage, he avoided that first green flag pit stop bugaboo that's kind of affected him in a few different races over the course of this year. It seemed like the car just kind of kept flying as if nothing really changed from, before he went into the pit stop to after he came out. Like, obviously, the tires didn't change at that point, but still, it felt like the performance didn't drop off one bit.
So we'll see what drivers decide to do here. McCauley and Bailey going for the right sides right there. We'll see if left sides will come into play as well. Yes, indeed, McCauley. Yeah, pretty much everyone's going to go for that. I think there are some cars back there that are trying to maybe take advantage with just 2 tires, as McCauley will come out first. Bailey second, Kyle Knoll third. Looks like Dylan Baum fourth. Ryan Gibson rounding at the top 5. Paytak, Higginbottom, Ford, Mangrum, Hurdle. Cannot tell who that looks to be Ireland. So again, so far out of all the final 4 drivers, it looks like Ireland's been the one that's struggling the most. And again, to be fair, it's a rookie doing this again. He's got the 3 wins all on intermediate tracks this year, but again, his first championship finale here in the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing. There's definitely going to be a lot of pressure against him, and there might be a little bit of overthinking going on with him, but again, you gotta remember it's still a long race. There's still plenty of time for things to shake up, and you just gotta make sure, especially on the restarts and with pit stops as well, you don't make any mistakes and you avoid all trouble possible.
Yeah, and how many times have we said it tonight, like where they're positioned right now, or even lap 67, that doesn't matter. The end of lap 167 is the one lap that counts here. Of course, you do have to get there, but ultimately getting to that final lap, giving yourself a chance, that is the end goal tonight for the Championship 4.
Absolutely. So the pace car light's still on here. So we'll get another lap of pacing before we go green with the second stage. And I guess during the meantime, I'm going to see if I can maybe go through some other things. Let's see what I can take a look at. Oh, yes. How about we go with this? We got the Dart Series here coming up. If you've ever wanted to race in the Canadian Motorsports Network, for a bonus, you want to race on the open wheel side, there's the 2023 Dallara 01 Auto Racing Team Series using the Dallara IR01 across 12 circuits that include ovals, road courses, and street circuits. At the end of the season, someone will earn the coveted Greg Moore Cup. And we have close to 20 drivers here that can go for 300 Canadian dollars. So feel free to reach out to see if you can secure a spot in creating open wheel history. We will begin just before Thanksgiving weekend in October. And there is one more event that we will have in the off weeks before the Dart Series comes along for Season 2. But we'll get to that a little bit later because, again, we still have a championship finale here to focus on, of course. Is there really much to think or really say about so far? I mean, we have seen some stuff again, as I mentioned earlier. We had, again, some pit stop fiascos, guys coming in a little bit too quick or, again, a little bit loose there. We had the situation with Belmonte at the start, and also some guys really trying that high side but getting into the wall, basically trying to do it almost Darlington style, trying to get some stripes on the right sides. But, again, it's a long night. Sun setting. When the third stage comes around, we will be under the lights to conclude the season. I mean, no better way to do that. But, again, it's still early. Not a whole lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, pretty academic so far. We've seen, Jared Ireland a little bit further down the field than obviously he would like. Again, we've said it how many times. It's where you finish this one that matters. I'll continue that thought after the restart.
Indeed. So there's the green flag from the iRacing official. McCauley getting a really good start as stage 2 of 3 is underway in the GSGSG Vinyl 3D season finale 200. Did we really need season finale in there?
I mean, sure. I mean, probably not. I think it's implied, but
it's a given.
Yeah, I mean, final chance for some guys to shine in season 4. And, I mean, obviously the headliner of the evening.
Oh, man! Paytech almost getting squeezed up to the high side by Darcy Ford. I think someone else may have gotten to the outside wall. I think that was Hunter Young in the 77 Ford. As Jose Mercado's going to die down low right there.
So,
see what else is going on.
A little bird in my ear may have me thinking that if something had happened between the 21 and 64, I feel like the 64 may not necessarily be the most remorseful about it tonight. But these two, they've been going door to door, wheel to wheel, and it may not end.
And what?
Not just in general, that's, full stop.
Oh, geez, we got almost everyone going in the wall. Ford, Paytech, I think Ireland maybe even tapped to this wall right there. So a lot of wall contact here early on.
And not the greatest restart there from Paytech, losing a couple of positions there. He's got another Championship 4 driver in Jared Ireland about to be on his bumper here in 10th. So maybe those two strike something temporary to try and get up to Corbin McCauley and Scott Bailey, because really, there's other cars on the track, but the only ones they're racing are at the head of the field. So where they are is just no good right now.
Paytech and Ford are just going at it here. There was a crossover Ford did right there after Paytech tried to send into the corner. Don't know if that would be the smartest move. Again, he is trying to get past Ford, but again, though, trying to send in wear those tires early on here, that could definitely play a role in the tire strategies later as Darcy Ford gets loose off the corner. Almost contact with Jared Ireland right there as Ford's going to drop back as Justin Belmonte, again, 9 laps down, but just trying to make his way through and race against everyone, because why the heck not? Magrum again a little bit loose off the corner there as Ty Higginbottom and Ryan Gibson are going to go at it here for the 5th position. Never mind, Higginbottom's going to make his way in front You got the two veterans going at up here up front, although McCauley does have almost a second advantage right there, 7/10. And then you got the two rookies in.
Fast.
Oh yeah, Dylan Baum and Kyle Knoll here going at it here for third and fourth place. Two aggressive rookies. I know one of them was involved in an incident with Jared Ireland back in the first Homestead-Miami race. I don't recall which one of them. Okay, yeah, no, it would have been Baum because, yeah, I remember Kyle Knoll finishing third. So, yeah, it was Dylan Baum and Jared Ireland dealing with stuff as Ireland still seems to be having his struggles here, or whatever it may be, as he's in the midst of the 7s and a 41 towards the bottom, or, yeah, behind the top 10.
Yeah, again, the positioning definitely not where he wants to be right this second. You'd have to think, at this point, he'd have to be wanting more of a long run approach. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, if maybe just things aren't quite lining up for him in this first third of the race as we get to that point. But yeah, he's definitely, languishing in relation to the rest of the championship four, but still a lot of miles to drive.
Indeed. So just looking at the stream here so far, we got almost 20 people watching right now, so we'd like to thank all of you for your support and watching and listening to this live production here of the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing. Got a lot of Matthew Paytek and Jason Butler supporters that I can tell for sure, including Michael Langley, who participated in one of our special events earlier in the season of GT3 race on the Daytona Road Course that he ended up winning. He basically dominated the whole thing. So nice to see him in the chat. Meanwhile, McCauley is still doing his thing. Almost not, 9/10s, basically a second. But again, that's built up over 9 green flag laps so far because there was the extra pace car lap. I think it stayed out for 5 during that caution between stages. Indeed. So Scott Bailey, 8/10s back right now. Dylan Baum trying to make his way up and fight the 88 for the second spot here in his number 3 SimLeaguePro.com Toyota, driving for Team 44 Racing. They've had a decent presence with Baum posting results and such and opinions after each race. So nice to see the rookie right there, who again, man, he was in a must-win situation last Tuesday, fell just short. He barely squeezed into the round of 8 with an outstanding performance at the second Charlotte race. Ended up being a photo finish with the 17 of Corbin McCauley, so that was by far the rookie's best performance all season long, and it was a race, it was at a time where we were just thinking, like, is there ever going to be a point where the number 3 will come to finally shine and put on a performance? Because there were so many races where there was something that would happen with him, whether it was on him or not on him, out of his control, whatever it may be. He finally had a race that went his way, and he even had almost a perfect wreck avoidance, too, on the back straightaway when guys like Ty Higginbottom and Andy Hurdle were collected in a big wreck late in the race. So, unfortunately, 3 not making it to the championship 4, but trying to end off the season on a high note with also the rookie, again, Kyle Knoll, right behind him. So, looking at some of the other rookies again, Jared Ireland still mired back here in the 11th position outside the top 10. Again, it's still pretty early as Jose Mercado was a loose moment off the corner right there. But the 13 Boot Hill Chevrolet just not having an ideal performance here tonight thus far. Again, it's still the second stage, plenty of time for things to happen. But this is not looking very good, as meanwhile Matthew Paytek is up here in the 8th position. So again, McCauley and Bailey doing their little dominant thing up there. Paytek, you could just argue he's doing okay, but Jared Ireland, man, just seeming very off versus previous races. I mean, again, too, coming off, again, a poor finish last week in a crash that involved Corbin McCauley on the back straightaway. It just seems like that negative momentum is continuing on here thus far, but then, again, we're just going to keep saying it back and forth. Still a long night.
It is, and I mean, the thing with Jared Ireland, as again, we see him in 11th right now after starting 3rd. Moving up into 10th. There we go, ahead of Mercado here at this point. But you have to think back to a little bit earlier in the season, and really, going back to that first Kansas race, Jared Ireland's been as consistent as anybody. Like, you could even throw Corbin McCauley into that mix. They both have 3 victories since Ireland's first one back, again, at Kansas on June 27th. So he's a guy who's found the performance when he's needed to. And if you look at he had a bit of a struggle early on, it has to be said, with 12th, 6th, and 17th at Vegas, 16th at the first Homestead, it should be noted. And then 17th at Atlanta. I think you got caught up in that, one of those massive green-white checkered wrecks. But yeah, ultimately, he's a guy who did what he had to when he needed to. Now, Talladega and Charlotte, so the round of 12 may have given him a little bit of a scare, finished 12th in both, but had, enough of a cushion to make it through, but then won the next week in Vegas to guarantee a spot in the championship four and not really have to worry about anything. So he's a guy that seems like he can find it when it matters. He's got 104 laps to find it tonight.
Indeed, so it looks as though we are now finally fully under the lights here in the second stage, a lot earlier than I was personally expecting, but I mean, hey, we're under the lights. If I recall correctly, I don't think we were under the lights in the first race. I think it was an all-day race. Do you recall?
I can't imagine it would have been under the lights. Obviously, it was earlier in the year as well. That was May 9th, so a lot more sunlight at that time. It should be noted iRacing does, I believe, follow dynamic weather conditions, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So that would include, presumably, sunrise and sunset, and it'd be 9 o'clock Florida time right now. So, yeah, it checks out that we'd be under the lights at this point.
Ryan Gibson sliding along the outside wall there as he's currently in a battle with Darcy Ford, and I think there might have been wall contact back here too with some drivers. Mercado just keeps having weird moments, getting loose off the corners, getting into the outside wall. I mean, we saw this similar pattern back at the first Homestead race. He was getting loose off of every single corner, so not ideal for the number 41. But I mean, again, though, we know he's aggressive. He just loves to drift around corners whenever he can.
As I think Young may have tagged with his right rear quarter panel there as well.
I did again, too.
It literally just did it again, yeah. So there is lots of that, and I mean, I think there might be a general struggle with, I don't know if it's a setup thing because they are supposed to kind of follow the same setup, but the track may not have as much grip as they were expecting.
Indeed, so it looks like there's a lot of movement going on here. Oh, okay, I believe this will be the green flag pit window here for the second stage, I would imagine. C.D. Magram, first car down. I think, wasn't he the first? Or no, Daniel Cudmore was the first down. I think he was one of the earlier ones in the previous one. No, we got multiple cars coming down. It's Magram, Belmonte, Butler as well. Right side tires, looks like for all of them.
Yeah,
left side's on Magram.
Not quite halfway through the stage here either, so a little bit interesting here to see cars coming in, admittedly a little bit earlier than expected, because again, 20 green flag laps as we see Darcy Ford, and I think that's Andy Hurdle in behind him. Oh, thank you, Pit Stop Board. It is Andy Hurdle. But I think 20 green flag laps plus the 5 caution. I would have figured, especially as you would figure the conditions would get a little bit cooler, you'd think there might be a little bit more life, but evidently something had to give for these guys who were pitting early.
Well, I was reading some stuff earlier before the race where the setup since the first... Oh my gosh, there's a K-tack! Getting into the outside wall in the back straightaway, right on the high side of Ty Higginbottom.
See,
is this Darlington?
I would have figured he would have done more of that when he was kind of charging through the field, but it's kind of settled into that 5th, 6th, whatever you want to call it here as Scott Bailey comes in.
Higginbottom
maybe
as
this
well.
is an undercut here on McCauley, which didn't seem like it worked out all that well in stage 1, but maybe with the conditions changing. we'll have to see if McCauley comes in this time around to cover that off.
Indeed, yeah. What I was going to say was the setup didn't really change a whole lot versus the first race. Yeah, McCauley now coming down pit road right there. But I was told it was a really weird combo of tight and loose, plows on entry, steps out on exit, especially on cold tires. I mean, we have seen proof of that. And the lap times also will be faster, considering it's later in the year. There's colder temperatures. It's sunset in Miami. We're literally under the lights now. Yeah, McCauley in his pit box, right side tires. Will he go for 4? Indeed he does. Yep. It looks like most drivers are doing that. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys just going absolutely wild when it comes to tire wear. So, I don't know if it's a message or just, just the good old regular strategy thing. Like, there's a bunch of stuff. Okay, someone just had a moment there coming off the corner. I have no idea who that may have been, though, as Jared Ireland makes his way down pit road. I know I saw someone have a moment there.
So, this second round of green flag pit stops has been very interesting so far. Again, you're seeing the more traditional kind of pit format here. A lot of guys didn't take tires in that first pit stop, if you recall, and I think Ireland just took 2. 9.5 seconds, which for the Norm Macdonald fans out there, that's one of his classic jokes. Is it called 9.5 seconds? But that is a video I'll get you to reference at another time. But yeah, Jared Ireland looking to gain a few seconds of track position here, and again, languishing around or just outside the top 10. Why not? I like it.
Oh yeah, why not? Right there, as on lap 73 here, 167. I can't do the math perfectly in my head, but I believe it is about 13 laps to go. And ironically, we're just talking about the number 13, but Dylan Baum and Kyle Knoll going at it here for the lead. One of them had a loose moment. I think it was the 15.
Baum.
Or it was Baum. Okay, I thought I saw some for Knoll. There's a bit of a slide there as well. Both cars really having some slides here through turns 3 and 4. Baum having a bit of a moment there trying to go up high as Matthew Paytak is on pit road. I'm going to just very quickly check to see here what he did. So he did go for the right side. To left? No.
And interestingly, there's been, I think those pit stops, I think that undercut may have well benefited Scott Bailey here. You see the positioning as McCauley unlaps himself. 2 seconds now between Bailey and McCauley on track.
Indeed. So McCauley trying to make his way up to Bailey right there. As again, it's still Dylan Baum. It's not Noel anymore. It'd be now Gibson as Noel makes his way down. Do you see the right front? That's a little suspicious looking.
I do, in fact, see that. Or should I have seen it? Maybe that's the suspicion. Oh! Man, yeah, that thing ain't moving.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it's not ideal, friend.
So 2 weeks in a row, the number 15 Storm Surge eSports Toyota. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember what happened last week. I knew something had happened, but I just, like something big, but I couldn't recall. It was the barrels, and it just happened again.
Last week was significantly harder than that.
Oh, yeah, no, that one was way harder. That one was head-on into the barrels. A very hard hit for the number 15 is, yeah, you can see his pit stop time there. He's going to go laps down. Now a minute there.
Yeah, Gibby.
Yes, that's Gibby. There's Mercado. That'd be Hunter Young coming down pit road as well. As I believe we're at 10 laps to go here in the second stage. Dylan Baum still leading the way. You can see what these guys decide to do here with their decisions.
And meanwhile, as we see the leaderboard changing, we also see that gap between Scott Bailey and Corbin McCauley shrinking. It's around a second and a half now, where it was a little over 2 as McCauley was trying to get back onto the lead lap.
Let's see if we can get an angle here where it shows the difference. Eventually. No. Not yet, at least.
Well, I mean, if you go on board with Macaulay, that would probably do the trick.
Yeah, there you go.
Hooray for remote production.
And we can do the onboard tap as well as Macaulay. I think may have just oh my gosh, he ever so slightly just tapped the apron right there, the white line on the inside.
Yeah, she's a little slippery down there.
I mean,
slippery all over this track.
That is what I said earlier on the cold tires. The car can really step out on the exit, plows through the entry, but then on exit it just gives away completely. It's loose. We've seen it with plenty of drivers here, especially on the high side.
And it seems like from the fluctuation of the times, it feels like Bailey has a bit of an advantage on the straights, but Macaulay can really cut it down coming through the turns here. Like, it goes down about a quarter of a second. But again, it eventually balances out to about a second and a half as we're down to 6 laps remaining next time they hit the line in this stage 2.
There's Justin Belmonte coming off of the pit lane as Bailey had a bit of a loose moment there off of turn 2. Yes, indeed, we will be... Yeah, this time around it'll be 6 to... Yeah, that's what he said.
It is. I mean, I kind of stuttered it, but that's eventually what I got out of my mouth.
And so Bailey will get past Daniel Cudmore, who is going to go a lap down here. Jose Mercado will be the final car on the lead lap at this moment. He is currently heading down the back straightaway. He'll be into turn 3 as Bailey is now way down the back straightaway in his number 88 NBR Motorsports Chevrolet. Jared Ireland, Ty Higginbottom here going at it for the 4th position, as now we're seeing Ireland starting to have some speed up front. So yes, that 2-tire call right there definitely went into his favor, as he's now up here in the top 5 after being way back behind the top 10 earlier in the race, like for most of the first stage and then for most of this second stage too. But now, completely different story. So this definitely will give some confidence to the rookie, who again, it's been some negative momentum between last week and this week here tonight. But that might change here, as now C.D. Mangrum and Ty Higginbottom are going to go at it. These two guys, we remember last Tuesday how wild these guys were going at it for the win in the final laps of the Nordic Aluminum 200. And yeah, unfortunately, neither were able to make it into the championship 4. Again, that's the reigning Rookie of the Year and then the defending champion. So, but, you know, trying to still end off the season on a high note. Higginbottom, again, as I said earlier, trying to go back-to-back. I guess you could say, quote-unquote, back-to-back. We didn't do 2 Homestead races last year, but this year we did. So I guess season finale-wise, you could say back-to-back, whatever, if you want to put it that way. But yeah, again, looking at the final 4 drivers, Bailey's 1st, Macaulay's 2nd, Jared Ireland's 4th, Matthew Paytak is back in 7th here. Would you look at that? These two have reunited again.
They're magnetic.
Basically. But Darcy Ford with the advantage so far, as now here with 3 laps to go in this second stage, Macaulay trying with his might to catch up to the 88 to see if he can steal this second stage victory. Although again, though, we have to remember it's the race finish. I mean, sure, this will give you all the momentum. This would give all the momentum and confidence in the world for the number 17 to try and steal this away from Bailey, because this quite literally could just be a practice for what we're going to see in the 3rd and final stage of both the race and the season here. So down the back straightaway for the second to last time, the 4/10 separating the two. Macaulay trying to dive it down to the inside while Bailey has been maintaining his high side.
Yeah, and that gap has just gotten munched away over these last, half a dozen, maybe even as many as 10 laps. Because if you recall, it wasn't that long ago that the gap was 2 seconds. And as we'll see the green-white checkered this time around, that gap's a quarter of a second now. So this one's not in the bag for the 88 just yet.
So we'll see here as it's just over 3/10 separating the two. We'll see if Macaulay tries to dive it down to the inside and make something happen. As Darcy Ford and Ty Higginbottom are going at back there. But to the green checker flag for the second stage. It's going to be the 88 of Scott Bailey getting the job done. Macaulay's second. Dylan Baum's going to come around for the third position. Jared Ireland will mightily improve his performance here with fourth place. C.D. Mangrum will take fifth. And I believe Darcy Ford's going to hang on over Ty Higginbottom for the sixth position there. Eighth will be Matthew Patek. Ninth to Ryan Gibson. And rounding at the top 10. That's not a photo finish. It's Andy Hurdle. There's the caution. And with that, Macaulay won the first stage, Bailey the second. Are we going to see in the third and final stage, are we going to see someone perhaps different, or is it just going to be these two just flat out dominating this thing?
So I have absolutely no reason to suggest it won't be these two flat out dominating as you worded it, but there's literally nothing left to lose for any of the championship four. Like, this is the point where absolutely everything's on the table now. I mean, you saw Jared Ireland dig into the bag of tricks, and that shot him up the board significantly in stage two. But now there is no tomorrow. This is where literally the rubber's going to meet the road. This is where we're going to find out who our season 4 champion's going to be. There's no turning back after this.
Indeed, so two, I guess we could say, grizzled veterans in this series. Only one of them can lift the coveted Earl Ross Cup, and neither of them have. Again, saying it multiple, going to say many times through the first 4 seasons here in the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, we are going to have a new champion every single time. Although if you do want to go back in time and maybe try to change things up or whatever, Macaulay could have had 2020. I think Scott Bailey could have had either one as well in 2020 or 2021.
Yep.
2022... well, it was the battle of Ty Higginbottom and Jonathan Peden. Again, Scott Bailey didn't run. We didn't even have Jared Ireland or Matthew Patek either. And Macaulay was struggling with a bit of a slump because of certain reasons that we won't get into. But speaking of Macaulay there too, he's on a completely more positive end than what we were just saying there. He's the first car off of pit road, as we will go back just one more time just to check on everyone. Yeah, most cars going for 4 tires and fuel, as the 17 will barely beat the 88 off the pit lane.
Yeah, I think that's just purely box positioning there that did it. I doubt there was a whole lot of difference between the two stops, given that obviously we are in a caution period here right now. And like, Macaulay admittedly was kind of riding Bailey's bumper as close as he possibly could just to minimize the possibility of any kind of a gap. And ultimately, the 17 gets out first.
Absolutely. So if there's, again, there's still another pace slap by the looks of it that's going to go on here, as there's still a bunch, still lap cars coming down pit road, including Justin Belmonte and Mike Marini. But if we took a look at the race summary so far, the only cautions that we've had have been for the stage breaks, which is absolutely fabulous here for the Championship 4, although that may have been straight up a jinx right there.
I mean, you said that earlier, and it wasn't really a jinx. Like, really, the only kind of issue we've had was that lap 1 Belmonte slamming into the wall on the back straight. Really, nothing else has happened since then. It's just been straightforward racing. Not quite, Tour de France on the Champs-Élysées on the last stage, but, definitely it's been, to this point, again, find the closest piece of wood you can find. It's been smooth sailing.
Absolutely. But again, though, this third and final stage here is going to be under 80 laps to the checker flag for both for the race, the championship finale, Earl Ross Cup playoffs, and the whole season. So, and again, we'll just continue with the summary. 6 laps under caution, 10 lead changes, 3 different leaders. Macaulay with the fastest lap so far. That is definitely something to keep an eye on. And it was very recent on lap 75. So, interesting to see there as we look at the weather info tab very quickly. Partly cloudy skies, air temperature 24 degrees Celsius, track temperature 26, humidity is at 81, 10 kilometers an hour wind speed going southeast, and we might as well very quickly shout out something else that we're doing here in the Canadian Motorsports Network after we did the Dart Series promo earlier. Might as well get into something else that we're doing. It's a special event coming up. The 2023 special event season continues on Tuesday, September 19th, next week at 7:30, or actually no, it'll be 6:30. I think it's 6:30 p.m. Eastern. That's when practice begins. So the 7:30 thing right there might actually be inaccurate. I believe that's what I recall. But we are hosting the Oysterbed Speedway 250 at South Boston Speedway. It'll be the first ever late model short track race in the network's history. We have multiple big celebrity names lined up thus far to join the network's regular competitors in what will be a heated 250 lap race of attrition. Basically our version of the real-life IWK 250. We got drivers like Ryan Messer, Caden Tufts, Tanton Wooldridge, Danny Chisholm, and more of Atlantic Canada's stock car superstars across the Super Late Model Series, East Coast International Pro Stock Tour, Maritime League Legends, and other regional tours and local tracks. 25 drivers will be lined up for that one, but now it's time to settle the third and final stage of the season finale here in the GSGSG Vinyl 3D Season Finale 200 at Homestead-Miami Speedway. One final stage to decide who will be joining Earl Ross Cup history here. Corbin McCauley with the advantage here so far, and there was contact back there from Justin Belmonte right here. Still up right there as Daniel Cudmore falls back. Jason Butler taking an advantage right there. Through turns 3 and 4. McCauley still with the advantage, side by side back here. We got C.D. Magram now dropping in behind the number 3 at Dylan Baum. As will these guys get away from each other ever?
I highly doubt it.
My gosh, they are close. Something is bound to happen here as the 21's really close forward. Would I even call that a block?
Well, I don't even know. I thought there was going to be something there. It was dicey.
Absolutely dicey there. There are a lot of cars going at it back here towards the back of the pack. Hunter Young and Ryan Gibson going at it there for the 11th position as we go back to up here very quickly. McCauley with a great advantage here, 4 seconds ahead of Scott Bailey, or just under.
4/10, no?
Huh?
4/10, no? Not 4 full seconds.
Or tenths, yeah, sorry about that. I had a bit of a brain fart right there. It happens. Dylan Baum in the 4th position here as Ty Higginbottom will dive to the inside. I think Baum may have had a bit of a slide or something going on right there, as the 97 will try to take advantage of that. C.D. Magram in behind, trying to get a draft off the 97. As, oh my gosh, Paytak's going to get in the wall.
Not the first time. Probably won't be the last. Using absolutely every inch of track he possibly can, because, you know, he's one of 4 still with a shot in this thing, and 8th place right now with the others 1, 2, 3. It's early in this stage, but he's got to make a move.
Oh, indeed, it is still early, but at the same time, though, this race has been flying by just like the season has. And just seeing here in the chat that Kyle Knoll is the first DNF of the race, 21 laps down, so a very tragic ending for the Storm Surge Esports rookie right there. Making a comment here in the stream. We'd like to say, Kyle, we very much appreciate you and your commitments here to the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing, a fabulous rookie campaign. Yes, mistakes were made, but that's what happens with rookies. And there's no doubt you do have the pace. If you can definitely clean some things up, there's no doubt that you will, and we very much will welcome you back for the next season here of NASCAR Series Racing, whenever that may be. I would imagine next year at some point. So yeah, appreciate you very much, Kyle Knoll, and if you still are going to watch the rest of this race, then enjoy it. If not, then have a good night either way. Anyways, we got to get back to this right here as, again, I'm just keeping the camera on these two because I feel like something in me is telling me something's going to happen.
I was going to say, are we hesitant to crank it up for that very reason?
You know what? This third and final stage actually got off to a pretty good start. So you know what? Might as well do that. TrackCams22.com, we thank them very much for providing us with these custom oval cameras that you see every single race here for this first season from us on iRacing to enhance and emphasize these broadcasts, these live productions that we do, really make them professional looking. And with all that being said, TrackHims22.com, crank it up. Here we go. One last time this season. Let's end it off on a high note. And with that, that was the TrackHams22.com Crank It Up. Once again, thank you very much to them for providing us with these custom oval cameras that you see all the time. Why on earth is the ticker broken on the second half?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh, God.
I mean...
Oh, that's a... Oh, man. Oh, that's brutal.
Hey. Probably wouldn't have been picked up if you hadn't said anything, as we see our couple of cars coming in for pit stops, including Jared Ireland. This is the Championship 4 development.
So Jared Ireland making an interesting call right here to come early. I mean, C.D. Mangrum came early in the second stage as well.
And let's see if Ireland replicates what he did last time. Staying in, I have to think he's going for 4 here, yeah. I think it would be a little risky to do the 2 with another pit stop coming.
Yeah. No, I'd say that's definitely noticeable. You can see the differences between the 2, and I know one guy in particular who literally created the ticker for months will definitely notice that. So I know Corbin's watching. I don't know what the heck just happened there, but I mean, hey, I guess to counteract it, we had to crank it up where we had literally nothing happen. So we can keep it there. We'll just keep it there and just say nothing.
Yeah,
besides, you're leading. We'll just go with the title.
This is one of those cases, impartiality aside. This is one of those, don't pay any attention to the man behind the Iron Curtain. Just absorb the information. I mean, the numbers still work. That's the main thing, is we see more cars coming into pit lane.
Yeah, it also works, just a font thing. But yeah, Andy Hurdle just came off of the pit lane. Daniel Cudmore now making his way down as there's the 17 and the 88. Coming along in the background right there. So I believe we're under 50 laps to go now in the race and the season. As that's not a battle, but we are seeing some close action right here with Belmonte, Darcy Ford, Jared Ireland. Yeah, there's Jared Ireland right there after his hit stop.
Yeah, so
Daniel Cudmore now coming off.
For Ireland, again, he came in a couple laps ago, as we saw. That would be roughly a 25-lap green flag stint. So, again, early for him. Maybe too early. He'll have to do a stretch somewhere in order to make it to the end.
Well, that's the problem. If you come in too early, then you're going to have less fresher tires than those that come in later. And I know guys like McCauley and Bailey have come in later versus what we just saw there with Jared Ireland. Paytack, I haven't really evaluated too much there, but what I said before, Paytack, like, you come in early, you very much risk that right there. But I mean, it's a hell of a risk to try and take when it's the championship finale. So.
Is McCauley himself in right now? I don't see a number next to his name, like for laps since last pit. Or is that just another glitch?
That might... Yeah, I think that might be another glitch. Why are we being hit with this? Oh, man.
Or he had indicated he was coming in. Oh, man. I thought he was barreling up there for a second. And I have to wonder.
Oh, no, I'm hearing
he came in fast.
I just heard on the other side of my room, I think McCauley just got hit.
He came in really quickly there.
Oh, no. Oh,
and
that's
notably, Bailey coming in right behind him.
That is catastrophic if it's true. I heard the reaction. He came in fast. I imagine it's the case. Yep.
Yeah, he's still stationary. There goes Bailey.
And Bailey's going to go. Oh, I said it earlier. If a mistake happens, that's catastrophic, and we just saw it right there. That is huge, but there's still time in this race for things to unravel. But knowing how, how the way this race has gone, the momentum with it, it's been all green flag racing. The stage break's been the only cautions. But man, that's rough.
That's been, like, if there's been one Achilles heel in McCauley's season, as he remains in, only coming out now, And I mean, that's rough. And yeah, you'd have to think, like, pit lane has been his, Achilles heel to this point as he's about to go a lap down.
And he just did. So Bailey is going to lap him, and now they're going to be separated by, I can't really tell. It might be just over a second, 2 seconds, something like that. But wow, and you even see Jared Ireland right there trying to catch up to Scott Bailey. So McCauley in the midst of some other Final Four drivers right there. But the unfortunate thing is, McCauley's not battling
2 laps down.
Yeah, he's actually 2 laps down, actually, so that's even worse. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's going to have to be some Herculean efforts here. He's got another Championship 4 driver with him in the form of Jared Ireland, who is, where are you, 13? He's 1 lap down in 4th, so 2 laps down might be a bit of a misnomer. There's still a bit of a pit window to navigate here, as it would appear. But still, the damage may have been done.
But again, anything's possible. You know, Scott Bailey, we could see him potentially make a mistake later on. That could help the 17. But then the other thing is, too, though, that could end up benefiting the number 13 or even the number 21 right here as they sit in 4th and 7th, respectively. Ireland trying to catch up to Bailey, who's now just coming off of turn 4. And then there's Ireland behind him right there, about 2 seconds or so of a difference in between the two. So McCauley trying to make his way. Bailey's 29 seconds behind the leader Dylan Baum right there, anyways. So.
And again, I'd have to.
McCauley just put himself now to 1 lap down instead of 2 because he passed Dylan Baum. So now he's going to try and get past Scott Bailey. 1 lap down is better than 2. So again, it's not over yet. He had a bit of a weird exit right there, but I'm just going to keep saying it's not over yet. You were saying Herculean effort, whatever it may be. There's still time left in this race for things to shake up, as now we're at
39.
That's where it is. Yeah. Ooh.
Even though I didn't have to do stage math for that, I'm still good for stuff like that.
And that's why I appreciate having you. So much going on, both visually, in the mind, it's everything. So, whew.
Yeah, the complexion of this race absolutely shifted with another speeding penalty.
So only 4 cars left here on the lead lap as Dylan Baum leads the way. Ryan Gibson 16, almost 17 seconds behind. Scott Bailey at 27. Jared Ireland's 30. C.D. Mangrum, the first car, a lap down. There's Ty Higginbottom battling with him. Matthew Patek now just entering turn 3. There's Darcy Ford in behind him.
And looking at that, Bailey and Ireland gap, Bailey's on the fresher tires and he's already ahead. So if Ireland is able to kind of close the gap a little bit, as it appears that Higginbotham just barely getting in, but if that battle does become something, I think Scott Bailey can probably capably defend it.
Indeed, so Butler making a pit stop here. So is Michael Wolford. Actually, I think Wolford might have had something happen with him. He's 8 laps down right now. Maybe I can go back and see if something happened.
Yeah, you'd probably, if it's 8 laps down, you're probably going back probably somewhere close to 5 minutes. At least.
Oh, did something happen with Higginbottom? Or no, I'm not on. Yeah, there we go. I gotta be on him right there.
Yeah, it might help.
I don't know what happened there. Okay, we see him right here on the high side, down to the middle here. Turns 1 and 2. Just something seems like it went wrong with him as he's going down the apron.
Is that just the pit indicator, though? Because that is the on-track indicator.
And I don't know for sure right there, as Ryan Gibson's going to make his way now down pit road. Scott Bailey will take the lead. And now something that we have to remember here is too, Macaulay is now one lap down, although again, though, everyone going through their pit stops and such, I don't know for sure if he'll be the first car 1 lap down whenever everything rolls through. So again, we'll probably just have to be a little bit patient and see what happens there, because again, still plenty of time for things to happen. We could still, incident could happen, you never know. Someone could have an issue. But at the same time, too, though, this race is going by quick. So there's time, but at the same time, there's not. And we're actually seeing it right here. Corbin Macaulay could very well try to get himself back on the lead lap as he's ever so slightly catching Scott Bailey. He's now going to get past Ryan Gibson to try and get back on the lead lap. So this actually... Are we seeing something here?
Well, he is still 1 lap down, so trying to unlap himself.
Yeah, unlapping himself is the first step to some form of a miracle here to happen late in this race. Again, there's still going to be another green flag pit window to come through.
But then he's got to be basically a second a lap faster once he does get by, just to have a shot at the checkered flag, assuming, there isn't something that happens between now and then.
And they're only separated by so little right here, maybe just over a second or so if I can estimate. I'm not perfect with that one bit, but almost 30 laps remaining in this one. Macaulay doing everything he can to find some form of a miracle to stay in this one and hopefully go for that championship again, though, too. We have to talk about what we were saying earlier. Macaulay, with the 8 wins, but he hasn't won since late August. The past 2 races have been won by Scott Bailey and Jared Ireland, who currently sit in those top 2 positions. I said the 88 and the 13 have the winning momentum as of recently. Macaulay does have the dominance factor over the season, but the winning momentum is a lot... It's a lot more obvious here that we're seeing the championship finale, because again, it's only one race where you can have a shot at winning the championship. You got to finish in front of everybody. So again, it's one race. If something goes wrong, then you are in complete trouble. And I wouldn't say that fully just yet for the 17, but it's not looking too good here because, again, there's not a lot of time remaining since this race has gone by quick. We have not had an incident-related caution yet. Only the stage breaks have been where we've seen yellow flags. So, again, just waiting for something to happen. But again, though, too, if this race does go fully all the way through with no incident cautions whatsoever, I think we could still argue that this is definitely a clean way to finish off the season, knowing how some of the past races had been. I mean, we remember back in races like Atlanta for sure, there was the long, like the kind of the half Coca-Cola 600 that we had. There was close to that. But there's been a lot of races where we have seen absolute calamity, but then there's this race where it seems like we're finally we're kind of catching a little bit of a break here, but whenever I'm saying that, there's still things that could happen. Who knows?
There are, and I mean, you've talked a lot about Corbin Macaulay, of course. It's probably time to focus the lens right now on the guy who is leading right now, that being the 88 of Scott Bailey. You mentioned the fact that, he came in with the momentum off of that big win last week, getting the monkey off the back. He's been kind of toe-to-toe with the 17 throughout the course of this race. Yeah, the gap's built up, but he did pick up the Stage 2 victory. Not that it means anything tonight, but he's held steady in that second position here for, right up until that speeding penalty happened. Just kind of needed a window, and he's a guy that's more than capable of just kind of seeing things through and just, again, goes back to what we were talking about throughout the year, just a model of consistency, really, especially in the last, 10 to 12 races, however long this streak has been for him. But, it's not like it should be treated as an anomaly that the 88's where he is right now with, almost a 6-second gap on Jared Ireland in second. So, yeah, Scott Bailey, again, proving more than capable, and last week was huge for him. just might be the catalyst he's needed to potentially get the job done and get another giant monkey off his back here, as well, as this is his third Championship 4 appearance, as you mentioned earlier, without picking up the big one. He's hoping third time's the charm here tonight.
Indeed, so I'm looking here. Yeah, the 7 of Andy Hurdle is just, yeah, he hit the outside wall in turns 1 and 2, also in 3 and 4, as I'm going through the field just to see, what the heck's going on. I think Hunter Young just may have had a moment there. And if we look at the difference between Bailey and McCauley, it's still been pretty much kind of staying the same here for some time. Ryan Gibson all the way back here in the 13th position. Jason Butler 14th, Mike Marini back here in 15th. Justin Milmani still at 9 laps down, but trying to finish this one out to conclude the season. Michael Wolford still in his pit box at 20 laps down, still has not done a DNF or anything like that yet. As we're getting a battle right here for the 4th position. It's Darcy Ford and C.D. Magram going at it.
Yeah, I mean, a different face for Ford to be battling tonight, it has to be said. There's the familiar face.
Yeah, exactly. About a second.
Never too far away.
Yeah, there's still magnets of some kind. Meanwhile, Bailey is 7 seconds ahead of Jared Ireland.
Yeah, like I said,
we're going to need to keep an eye on this, because I do kind of wonder if Ireland might be catching or maybe not, but...
No, it's going the other way.
Okay, no, it started going the other way as I was saying that, so...
Yeah, because when I was talking about Bailey before, as Hurdle comes in, that was going to be my other question, is when this kind of final green flag window was going to come. But as I mentioned, as I was talking about Scott Bailey, the gap was around 6 seconds at that point between himself and Ireland. Now you're looking at another 1.3 seconds that's been built up since then. The 88's absolutely on rails.
So a couple pit stops right there. Andy Hurdle and Daniel Cudmore coming out of his box. Now Wolford, you can't even see his time anyway, so it's as if he doesn't want to see us breaking another record. But Ty Higginbottom now making his way down here as, again, math-wise, we're nearing 20 laps to go. As, whoa, Jose Mercado had a moment there in the background coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, this is kind of that final window here. It's basically all out to the end from this particular round of pit stops. It'll be interesting to see whether or not the man that we're focusing on right now maybe tries something a little different to try and gain a little bit of time, maybe leapfrog Bailey in pit lane, and then try to conduct business from there. But 20 laps to go. Again, you're looking at needing to be, barring any kind of a caution, at least 1.5 seconds faster per lap. And that's once he's unlapped.
That's the thing, too. He still has to get himself back on the lead lap in order for anything to happen here. But, however, if we were to get a caution at this exact moment, he would be on the lead lap. He would get the lucky dog.
Yeah, and, 20 laps to go. It's been, fairly clean throughout. So it's hard to really find an indicator of that happening. But, for all the, races that have been just absolutely littered with contact, to find one that really hasn't been and to have it be the finale, it's a little bit of a strange dichotomy there, but it's, very much worked out in the favor of the man who's leading right now and is kind of in cruise control right this second.
Indeed so. So again, that gap with Jared Ireland in second place, yeah, it just keeps dropping and dropping. Now 8 seconds. Let's start getting closer to 9 seconds, as we're now at 19 laps to go in the GSGSG Vinyl 3D Season Finale 200 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. The season finale for the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing. Season 4, Earl Ross Cup Playoffs. Scott Bailey looking to earn his first championship after again finishing 3rd in 2020. Oh my goodness, the 17 just had a moment right there coming off the final corner. But again, back to Bailey, 4th place in 2021. Took a hiatus in 2022, the final year of the NASCAR E5 era. And then this year makes the comeback. Took forever to get a victory, but finally was able to get the job done.
Meanwhile, Ireland's plummeting. Is he in pit lane?
Yes, he is.
Okay, yeah, I just saw him falling down the board. I wasn't sure if there was an indicator if he was in or not. Okay, so there's 2.
4.
And there's 4.
So Ireland's going to go for a 4-tire stop right here. Maybe, I don't know, some advantage that he could try to gain or something on Bailey. Who knows? Belmonte in his pit box for a long time.
Yeah, so now it's a double-digit lead between, for Bailey over Ford right now. Only 5 cars on the lead lap.
That's only, or no, that'd be actually 5 on the lead lap.
That's what I said.
I thought I heard 4, huh?
Yeah, I think I changed my mind mid-sentence, but it was definitely 5.
Yeah. So 12 seconds separating Bailey and Darcy Ford as Matthew Patak's now going to make his way down pit road. And I'd say again, too, Bailey's going to have to make his way down. Guys like Matthew Patak and Jared Ireland are going to be praying that any other guy, or the McCauley, of course, will have an issue coming down pit road. And they won't want one for themselves either, as Patak looks like he's going to go for just the right sides and fuel on this pit stop. Interesting right there.
14 laps to go. You play your last card now.
So we are winding down nearly to 10 laps to go. Here's the 88, continues to lead the way. The 17 trying to figure out something to get back on the lead lap, but time is ticking, and at this point, I just don't think anything is feasible unless something happens somewhere in the field.
Unless he tries to stay out by some miracle.
Or that too.
That stretch is probably the only card he can play at this point.
Well, that's the thing. If I try to see here on the leaderboard, McCauley's currently going through turns 3 and 4. Bailey again still in front of him. Now he's going to make his way down pit road. McCauley's going to follow him and hopefully not try to speed again.
I think he barely got under that time.
Barely. So McCauley's going to choose to come down behind Bailey and maybe try to gain an advantage here on him to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, you'd have to think there has to be some kind of difference in the strategy between the two, whether it's McCauley. Well, I was about to say taking no tires, but there's 2.
Is McCauley going to go for... Oh, yeah, they're both going for 4.
So you'd have to think, yeah, there goes Bailey out ahead. So even Stevens there.
And Jose Mercado gets out of the way of the 2, so a nice move right there by him. So the 17's going to do everything he can here, but again, it's all going to be a matter of lucky circumstances. The 17 really loose off of the pit exit right there down the back straightaway. Dylan Baum's still leading the way. Scott Bailey in second. McCauley really catching up right there in the middle lane. He's going to try and get back on the lead lap here to hope for, I don't know, some miracle that can happen.
Yeah, Bailey's going to know that, though. He's not going to make this easy.
Oh, no, he's not, as Bailey's going to block down to the inside. He's not going to want to let the 17 get past. As, yeah, man, bumper to bumper right there. 17's now going to dive it down to the inside. Bailey's going to stick to the high side. 17 will dive it in. He's now going to get back. Actually, no, he would still have to get past Dylan Baum, who's way up ahead. So actually not just yet. Baum still has to come down pit road. Then he'll be able to get back on the lead lap. But these two are battling side by side right here. If only this was the battle for the championship, but no. Again, not the case, as Dylan Baum going to lead here on lap 158 of 167. So we are now at 10 laps to go in the GSGSG Vinyl 3D Season Finale 200, the Championship 4 race here for the Season 4 Oro Ross Cup playoffs. I wonder if the 3 is going to actually try and make the stretch here and see if he could maybe even go for his first career victory here after falling short at Charlotte just a couple weeks back.
I mean, at this point, what do you have to lose?
Basically. So Macaulay passed Bailey. We're going to have to see what happens with Dylan Baum as Macaulay tries to get back on the lead lap. But right now, it's just looking like the 88 is on his way to something. Jared Ireland's about 7 seconds or so behind.
Yeah, and that's the other variable for the 17. Like, absolutely, like, the time just doesn't exist right now. And even if it did, you'd still have to get past Ireland and Paytak, too, to get back to Bailey. And that's no guarantee right now either.
Bailey getting a little bit loose off of turn 2 right there, exiting off. The 88 is just going to be praying to hell right now that nothing happens towards in the middle of the field, the back of the field, anywhere. Because if there is a car that goes around, there will be no hesitation to throw a caution.
And still, we're looking at probably about not quite 5 minutes of track time from now to ostensibly when the checkered flag would be thrown to put a wrap on this season 4.
Looks like CD Mangrum and Darcy Ford had a bit of a battle going on right there for the 7th position, but Mangrum's going to hold the advantage right there as Dylan Baum still continues to lead the way here with 7 laps to go, and it looks like he's probably going to try and stretch it out right here. I mean, 20 seconds ahead of Scott Bailey. I mean, might as well stay out and try to stretch it away. I would imagine Bailey's probably not going to have enough to gain at him, so it looks as though we might be seeing a first career win and also be crowning a champion 2 in this race.
And notably, in each of the first 3 seasons, the champion did win the season finale. Like, they won outright. So we've never had someone win the finale who didn't wind up being champion at the same time. So Baum looking to buck that trend here in season 4. Scott Bailey, I'm sure he'd be content where he is, just knowing that everyone else he has to worry about is behind him.
So Ireland and Paytak are currently going at it for the 2nd position in the championship 4 for 3rd and 4th. Dylan Baum leading the way, and then you got 2nd through 4th, all final 4 drivers, and then Macaulay again back in 9th, a lap down. And
yeah, 5 laps to go. He has to be just absolutely praying for something at this point.
Indeed, I do. I don't wonder if something might end up happening here between the 13 and the 21. Because if it does, then that could change everything right here with 4 laps to go for the number 3 SimLeaguePro.com Toyota. As both the 13 and the 21 trying to use the high side right here. As I think Ireland may have hit the brakes a little bit right there. As Paytak's going to go to the inside. They're going to battle side by side here for the 3rd position, the bottom of the podium. They're going to get a little bit close right there. They still will. Paytak in the middle, Ireland on the high side. Looks like Ireland's going to take the advantage right there. As again, too, with 3 laps to go, Dylan Baum 16.5 seconds ahead of Scott Bailey. Coming down the back straightaway. He'll be coming to 2 laps to go. Looking for that first career victory. And I would argue it has been long awaited. There's been a lot of races where he's had the speed, but then just kind of some rookie mistakes have happened. But it looks like that's not going to be the case this time around, hopefully. Ty Higginbottom and Ryan Gibson going at it here for the 5th position, each of them trying to add one more top 5 finish to their statistics. And it looks like Paytak is starting to drop back here as Ireland looks like he'll probably end up hanging on for 2nd place in the championship 4. But there's the number 3 of Dylan Baum coming down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Now he'll be seeing the white flag in the GSGSG Vinyl 3D Season Finale 200, round 20 of 20 here in Season 4 of the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing Earl Ross Cup Playoffs. White flag is out, final lap for the number 3, and it looks like he's gone. He's pretty much got it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a 15-second gap, or 14.7 if you want to get super technical, as Bob heads down the back straightaway for the final time. And, he's had his share of moments this year, as you mentioned. He's been entertaining. He came within a hair of picking up the win a few weeks ago. Now it looks like he's got it. I'll let you take it.
And off the final corner, the checker flag will go to the number 3 of Dylan Baum, his first career victory. And now coming through turns 3 and 4, he finished 3rd in 2020, 4th in 2021. Didn't even race last year. He comes back this year. He's going to get the job done. There's your Season 4 Earl Ross Cup champion. The number 88 of Scott Bailey will get the job done. There you have it.
You know what? It's like slow and steady isn't even the right metaphor here. Scott Bailey's just been flat out steady. And, I talked about it significantly over the course of, this final stage, the fact that, just an absolute model of consistency. And tonight, he was that, and critically didn't make any mistakes. Like, that ultimately wound up being the biggest difference here tonight, as the 88 will stand alone.
Indeed, so we can now toggle the unofficial results here for this final race of Season 4 of the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing. The number 3 Toyota, Dylan Baum, finally getting his first career victory here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. He came so close at Charlotte. This time around, though, he does get the job done. That late strategy just decides to hang on, and what do you know? It works out for him. Second place going to, of course, that is the number 88 Scott Bailey, who earns the Earl Ross Cup. Third place to the number 13 of Jared Ireland, rounding out the podium. He will finish second in the Championship 4. Third place, but then fourth in the race results. Matthew Patak, the number 21. Hell of a run that he did have. Seemed like a magnet with the number 64 of Darcy Ford, but a hell of a performance that Patak put on. Ty Higginbottom rounds out the top 5 in 5th place. The defending champion, not too shabby of end result here to his first season here on iRacing in this transition that he said was, kind of a roller coaster, but every race he was improving and doing his best, and that's what he was able to prove throughout the playoffs. And then you got the number 1 of C.D. Magram in 6th place, falling just short of a top 5, but not a bad finish for him. And for whatever reason, the unofficial results have decided, this whole ticker thing seems to be having complete glitches right here, but I'm going to try and get through this as much as I can. It looks like Darcy Ford will finish 7th. I'm probably going to have to increase the field to see here. Ryan Gibson will take 8th. Corbin McCauley tragically will take 9th and finish 4th in the Championship 4. And then I'm going to have to toggle this one more time here. There we go. So Jose Mercado will take the 10th position. So a top 10 for him to wrap up this 4th season of NASCAR Series Racing. Then there's Andy Hurdle in 11th. I'm going to have to go back again. Hunter Young will get 12th. And then I think we're pretty much good from here on now. Daniel Cudmore, 13th. Jason Butler, 14th. 15th will go to Mike Marini. 16th to Justin Belmonte, who again was caught up in that lap 1 incident on the back straightaway into the wall. Sustained right side damage. Thankfully not a bigger crash. I believe, it was Wolford, I believe, that may have gotten 7th or something like Michael Wolford, 17th. And then Kyle Knoll finishing in 18th and in the final position. Very, very unfortunate result for him to end off the season. But I mean, hey, he was able to come in the chat and say, he had a fun time, and rookie mistakes were made, but he definitely he said that he had the speed to get the job done every single weekend. There's no doubt that was the case. And with all that being said, with the race results now, we can finally get to this. There you have it.
Yeah, long time coming for that 88.
Indeed so. Again, 3rd in 2020, 4th in 2021, didn't participate last year, and then this year, Mr. Consistency with 16, now it'll be 17, I believe 17 top 10 finishes in a row. Also got plenty of podium finishes. But now, and then, he finally gets the win last Tuesday at Auto Club. This time around, not the win, but he does earn the Earl Ross Cup, so his face and his name will be going on that coveted trophy, and he will be joining names like Brian Gibson, Darcy Ford, and Ty Higginbottom on the trophy, getting the job done for NBR Motorsports. I was seeing in some of the chats there and such, Matthew Patak celebrating the championship, a lot of guys congratulating him and also Dylan Baum as well.